Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Happy New Year to all of you, and in today's One Piece Treasure Cruise video we are going to kick off the new year with a new monthly series for One Piece Treasure Cruise, where of course I will be talking about the medal exchange, the lineup per month, and we are going to discuss the units and conclude on if they are worth for you to get by spending your medals. Something pretty simple that I have been thinking about doing for a while, and I think January 2022 is the perfect month to begin. On the left there, other than the subscribe button, which you should hit to be honest, we also have 5 missing spots where 5 units from this medal shop will go each month that in my opinion are the 5 most worth to get. But have in mind, this is very specific to your box and what you already have, so you should judge accordingly based on what I say about the units as well in the duration of the video. Without further ado, let's discuss the units we have this month because we have some amazing choices. From the 150 range, let's begin with Bartolomeo. He is an interesting case because as a captain or even a crewmate, you are never going to use him. His special is not good, his captain ability is extremely outdated, but his support, being able to remove 3 turns of paralysis, is extremely good and actually one of the very few, if not the only unit in the game that is able to do so. He can be attached to Robin and also Cavendish, but the main unit is Robin. That means that he can even be attached to the new Straw Hat Crew legend and remove 3 turns of paralysis on top of the 4 the Straw Hat Crew can remove after their super swap. He is not a hard unit to get though, I believe, especially if you are also playing treasure map every month to get the legend tickets, because he is very old, so I'm not gonna put him in the priority list. I believe this month especially has way better options for you to spend your medals. Those options are not the 2 Sai units for 150 medals. Kizaru is good in Pirate Rumble in slasher teams, but other than that you are never going to use him. So I do not think it is worth for you to spend your 150 here. If he's the only unit you miss, maybe, but then again maybe you just want to save for another monthly lineup. Shirahoshi is more usable in regular content, and she also has an okay support, giving some healing and also a rainbow slot, but she cannot change a block slot to rainbow. She can be attached to Luffy though, so she might be helpful, but then again Luffy has so many great supports even for matching slots that I do not think you are going to use her for her support. Because of the existence of V1 Shirahoshi Mansery and also V2, this unit also sees less play, almost close to none these days, so I would not advise you to spend on her either. By far the best unit for this price tag this month is V2 Sabo. V2 Sabo in my opinion was a usable unit even before he got his super evolution, but now with his 6+, he is even better, and he actually got a side grade, not a direct upgrade, which means you can use both the 6-star version in some quests and in others you can use the super evolved one. He works very well with Versus Ace that we also have available this month, so if you miss Sabo but you have Ace versus Akainu, you might want to consider him. Great unit, can be attached with good supports, and his special is extremely powerful with Versus Ace because he gives you the damage boosting that Ace is lacking, making them work so good together. In case you do not know, Versus Ace provides an ore boost and also an increasing chain lock, while V2 6+ Sabo provides an attack boost and a chain boost. He can also ignite the enemy if he doesn't have immunity, which is another great plus about his super evolution form. For a disadvantage I guess for this Sabo, his support is completely useless and he does not provide any utility without specific supports, but with him and Versus Ace you get so much damage that you can focus the rest of your units on the team to provide utility and maybe even more damage if that is possible. I won't place him on the priority list because this month is loaded with great units, but out of the cheap ones he is probably your best choice. For the 250 range, we are starting with V2 Mihawk, straight off the bat, I do not think, especially this month, he is worth it at all, simply because we have better options. Now, if he is the only unit you miss, might as well, but as I said for Kizaru, maybe you just want to save your medals for another exchange. I am not going to say this unit is completely trash or unusable, but I am going to say that he is pretty restrictive for what he offers. And if you are going to use him as a captain, because he is an increasing chain captain, which is decent, you need to have a friend captain that is extremely good and either provides a superclass or a super type. There is no slasher superclass yet, so that is not possible, and maybe a Mihawk will get a superclass in the future, so that is something to think about as well. As a sub, he is probably usable once again, but because he is so slasher centric, in the majority of content there would probably be a better option. It is pretty nice that he can provide an ore boost for slashers though in 2 different stages. Definitely not on the priority list. And then we have Vivi and Rebecca. V1 Vivi and Rebecca that is, and this unit is incredible. Still good, simply because they can completely remove all enemies' defense up and damage reduction. They can also give you a color affinity for Striker and Cerebral on top of the utility, so they are simply a great unit, and they are also a dual one. With their swap, they can give you a chain lock and also healing. For longer content like Garb challenges or maybe even arena sometimes, Vivi and Rebecca can be extremely helpful to provide that extra bit of damage with their swap and even give you the ability to stall a bit more with their healing. And I almost forgot, but they can actually also help you with your slots. Such a great unit to have, it has to be on the priority list, and even though you are not going to use them as captains or you are not going to use them in every new quest, when it's time to use them, they are gonna make your life so much easier that you are going to be thankful you got them. They might be not 100% necessary, and yes, there is probably another team you can clear with, but when they are needed in a piece of content, they are so hard to replace simply because of all of the things they can provide. Next up, we have V1 Kaido, and straight off the bat I will tell you why I'm not putting him on the priority list. V1 Kaido is a great quality of life legend that will make your runs faster and easier, especially if there is no now. He can clear all the raids or quests super easily because now was not a thing, and he can also clear monthly Garb challenges faster. He is pretty much a fast car that you will be using a lot of the time, but in my opinion, he is not a must-have unit. If you miss him and have everything else here, absolutely awesome to get him, but if you do not have everything else and let's say you have nothing, there are simply better units that maybe are needed in a piece of content in order for you to clear. So I'm not gonna put V1 Kaido here, even though he's such a great unit and so helpful because of the speed he can provide in a lot of pieces of content. If we had to make an imaginary spot number 6 on the list, definitely V1 Kaido. Next up, Shanks Crew. I'm not gonna say much, get them. If you do not have Shanks Crew, they are so good. I myself did not have them for a long time until the first time they were available in the medal exchange. I got them for 400 medals and even at a higher price, 100% worth. Now at 250, they are even more worth it if you do not have them. And for the love of God, because I am hearing this so often lately, no, Roger and Whitebeard did not power creep Shanks Crew. Do they have a better swap? Yes. Are they a completely better unit than Shanks Crew? Absolutely not. They are different except the swapping mechanics. Yes, the swap of the Roger and Whitebeard unit is better and they also have a super swap, but Shanks Crew can give V1 Roger super type. They can also provide a 3-turn chain lock at 3.5 times, which is awesome because positive buff clears in the final stage cannot remove it. And if you got Roger and Whitebeard, they can even work with them. Another thing is that Shanks Crew is able to remove 10 turns of special bind if captain, which is so valuable. Yes, the multipliers they have in the single forms are not the best, but still, combined with V1 Roger, one of the best captain combinations in the game. 100% they are worth 250 medals, and they are on the list. Then we go to the 400 price range, and we are going to start with V3 Law. Another great unit and another unit on the list. Law is a good captain, but even if you decide to not use him as a captain, he is such a strong sub, it's crazy. He can manipulate slots and not only block, but also empty unfavorable bomb RCV and G, and then he can give you an orb boost and also an increasing chain lock based on your captain's classes. And the increasing chain lock is one of the best and most future-proof damage boosting abilities in the whole game. Not to mention, he is also low and he gets great support, and he can also unlock super type abilities because of his name, but as a captain he is also very tanky. You can stall with him quite a lot because he gives you healing and also damage reduction at the same time. Something I always found weird is that V3 Law is Free Spirit Slasher, but he boosts Free Spirit Fighter and Striker in his captain ability, but it's not enough of a drawback for me to tell you this unit is garbage, do not get him. He is obviously worth it and also very good. The next 400 range unit is Luffy Sanji. Another unit on the list. Luffy Sanji is crazy underrated, and I think the only reason for that is because of Roger. They got released after Roger for the global anniversary, and everyone is like, this unit is a bad version of Roger, they are not as good, they are not worth to use if you have Roger. And in my opinion, all of that is not true, completely inaccurate. Are they similar to Roger? Definitely. Does Roger existing make them obsolete? Absolutely not. They can provide you a 2.5 times attack boost while being Luffy Sanji, and as a sub, because they are a dual unit, they can also provide the utility of matching slots, but also the utility of removing debuffs for one turn with their swap. Luffy Sanji is a great unit, not because they are better than Roger, but because they are a great unit by themselves. They can be used as captain, they can be used alongside Roger, they can give you overheal, something that Roger simply cannot, they can give you the ability for them to combine at the strength form, something that Roger cannot do, he cannot transform to strength all of a sudden, and of course them being Luffy Sanji provides you a big array of supports to choose from if you need them. Like V3 Law we saw before, they also have the survivability factor in their captain ability, and because of all of the overheal you can achieve with them, of course you can also take a lot of damage or more time to stall. Next up we have V3 Zoro, the only super type unit on the list, one of the best Dex super types in the game. I actually pulled him relatively recently, so I did not have the chance to use him yet unfortunately, but I believe he's actually very good. He can provide a lot of damage, he has the uniqueness of removing special bind when captain, something I love, and because the Dex captains are not the strongest or the best ones in the game, he can definitely be helpful if you are lacking Dex captains. Zoro can work extremely well with Super Sugofest Dex Law. He can allow Law to gain his super type ability, and he can provide boosts in damage that Super Sugofest Law cannot. The reason Zoro is not on the list is again because this list is loaded with great units. Let's just put him with his lovely friend Kaido in the imaginary spot 6, I guess. It is a great spot for these two poor Dex units that were so close but could not make the top 5, at least for this month. Finally, of course, the last unit on the exchange and the last unit on the list, Ace vs Akainu. It is obvious that they will be there. A lot of people will say the best unit in here. I'm not gonna say that, but I will definitely say that if you can get 2 units for the price of 1, might as well. Versus Akainu is an extremely strong powerhouse and driven captain, and he is also an extremely strong sub with the right captains because he can provide you an ore boost and a chain lock, but he can also provide you a conditional attack boost if possible with his versus ability and then matching slots. One thing I dislike about Akainu is that you cannot stall with him properly and his cooldown is relatively long, but if you get hit, him applying ignited status is not the worst because in some cases you want to get hit and the burn will actually take care of the enemy, like in a lot of arena stage 3 examples we have. Now for versus Ace, another great captain, I believe that the special rewind ability he has, where your subs get their specials back, is awesome, and of course being a free spirit captain is always good. The shooter part of him is not the best, but it's good to see some other classes getting love as well. His orb manipulation is not as good as Akainu's, but it is still decent, and his damage boosting is superb and a great combination with V2 Sabo, his 6+ version, as we said before. The increasing chain lock is awesome, but you need to be careful because he needs to have a strength slot when you activate his special in order for him to give you an increasing chain lock. That is definitely a disadvantage for Ace, but also definitely manageable for you to achieve in a quest, as we have seen in many different teams after the unit was released. And that concludes the priority list, which by the way is not in order of importance. It is just in the order we saw the units in this video and in the order we talked about them. That's why Vivi and Rebecca is first and Ace vs Akainu is last. The exact order of importance of course will always have to do with your box, the content you want to beat at the time, and it also has to do with what unit or character you enjoy or just like the most. That is everything I had to say about this month's medal shop. Hopefully you enjoy me talking about these units more. If you do, leave a like down below and also subscribe to the channel for more of this type of content. Tell me in the comments your opinions about the medal exchange or what units you are planning to get. Thank you so much for watching, happy new year, and I'll see you in the next one.